Welcome back. I'm Shantae Sumter live in Seattle along I-90 where the two-line across Lake Washington will finally open this weekend. It's a project that's been in the works for nearly 20 years since voters approved being able to connect the east side and Seattle using a light rail train. So this weekend, that moment has finally arrived. So that meant crossing over Lake Washington, but the lake's depth and unstable soil made a typical bridge impossible. So engineers had to do something that's never been done before anywhere in the world: put a train line on top of a floating bridge. They say the uniqueness of the project meant years of testing and planning.
Those waves reach a certain threshold, we have to reduce our train service so that we can maintain the bridge safety.
So again, this project has been in the works for quite some time. We know that Sound Transit say they're using a system that will monitor the wind and wave conditions in real time to adjust service. And this stretch will be inspected more than those standard lines just because of the complexity of that. So as I mentioned, this project took about 20 years and we've seen delays and struggles because of setbacks with construction. Now, 17 years after voters approved it, Cross Lake Connection is opening tomorrow. King 5's Drew Andre explored the cost and the lengthy process of all this, and he joins us now from Mercer Island. So Drew, for a long time this seemed like a mirage for people because of all of those delays, but it's finally happening.
Right, Shantae, and you've been following this closely, of course. The initial date that the entire East Lake extension was supposed to open was mid-2023. That was then pushed back to late 2025 and then again. So now that we are finally here, the big question is, was this wait worth it?
All those buildings out there where that train is headed right now, all of those buildings are transit-oriented development. They are there because the light rail is coming.
In 2008, King County Councilmember Claudia Balducci was on Bellevue City Council when voters approved 34 miles of light rail. A longtime supporter of the project, she was the leading voice to open the Bellevue to Redmond connection back in 2024 when the floating bridge tracks weren't ready yet.
And everything we did was worth it because we're here today. Now, well, we should learn lessons from this, and in the future, we should build faster.
The entire connection was supposed to all open at the same time, but it was one problem after another. Concrete plinths designed to hold the light rail tracks along the floating bridge were incorrectly installed by contractors. It ultimately forced Sound Transit to demolish and redo all of that work.
That's a quality control issue, and if we can get ahead of quality control sooner so that we don't have to go back and redo a whole lot of work, that will also speed things up in the future.
More unforeseen problems like the pandemic and a concrete union strike contributed too. The estimated total cost of just under $3.7 billion ended up tens of millions of dollars over budget. This has led to criticism, especially from opponents of public mass transit. But I decided to ask people who voted for the project. And now, 17 years later, do you still support it? From this small sample size, those voters seem ready for the payoff. We desperately need this. It's been a long time coming. Another wrote, I voted for this and can't wait to use. I'll be retired by the time it reaches me, but I plant trees, not for shade I can enjoy.
And I also heard from a lot of younger people that just weren't old enough to vote back in 2008 and feel like now finally, Shantae, that they're going to be able to reap the benefits from all this.
Oh yeah, Drew, of course. And then, it's about a lifestyle change, right? Getting people to kind of ditch the cars and get into the light rail. And now if you're over on the east side, you have that option. So thank you for that, Drew.